So let's dive in. Once we've collected this data, now let's understand how daisy chaining different cloud tools together can enable you to do almost unimaginable things with the data and derive incredibly powerful insights that you can take action on as well. So see this email address down here that's associated with the user who signed up? I can hook up Segment to a system called Clearbit. And Clearbit also works on its own. So you could use any of the systems and services I'm about to tell you about on their own. This is just a way that they all interconnect together. What Clearbit lets you do is you send Clearbit an email address, and it sends back to you up to 85 different fields on both the full email address and just everything after the @ sign, the company associated with that email address, that are publicly available about that address. So when I pass Seth@familion1.com through Clearbit, here's the profile that I get for Seth@familion1.com. This is my old LinkedIn photo, my Twitter bio, my website, my Twitter handle, my title from LinkedIn, my role from LinkedIn, seniority from LinkedIn, my location from LinkedIn, my LinkedIn handle. So you can see that's an aggregation of a bunch of different publicly available data points. It also gives me information on everything after the @ sign, familion1.com, the legal name of the company, the description of the company from familion1.com's website, tags that Clearbit has compiled on the company, the industry according to LinkedIn, and one of my favorite, the technologies. So it actually, Clearbit will tell you what the stack is that website, which belongs to familion1.com, is running on. It has Typekit, it has Google Analytics, it has Squarespace. I can then use that Clearbit integration with Segment. So what I could do is on my own, I could just pass familion1.com or this email into the Clearbit interface. With the Segment integration, I just pass all this enriched data right back into Segment, and it enables me to send all this enriched data downstream to all of the tools which I have hooked up to Segment. So for instance, let's say I'm interested in understanding the seniority of the people who are viewing content on this website. And for a little context, let's say the website is a thought leadership website, which is targeted towards executives, right? So we're trying to figure out how many of our total readers are executives, what share. So if I send the data down to Mixpanel, which helps me do this kind of analysis, I can run a really quick query and it says, show me people the total number of any page view by Clearbit employment seniority. And sure enough, 46.15% of those viewers are executives, whereas 40% are managers and 13.85% are directors. And this is I believe, the hierarchy that Clearbit sets up in terms of seniority. That's great. So now we have a point of validation that says we were trying to target executives and we have indeed targeted executives on the site. Now, the next question becomes, what types of content are each of those levels of seniority engaging in? And moreover, is there a particular type of content, a particular combination of tags or individual tag that I know skews towards the executives and is underrepresented by manager and directors, such that if I were to write more content around that tag, I would increase the likelihood that executives would like the content on my website. So here's that breakdown. It shows you the viewed by seniority and then by post tags, and here's the distribution. These are screenshots from Mixpanel, and it shows you, executives like research first, then IoT, then digital transformation, managers like financial services first, directors like research first. Okay, so where are the points of discrepancy that makes executives unique? Well, it looks like IoT is low on the totem pole for directors. It doesn't even exist for managers, but it's high for executives. And digital transformation is low for managers, but high for executives. And so the insight here that we were able to make as a result of this enriched traffic data is, hey, editorial team, if you want to target executives, you should be writing content around IoT and digital transformation. If you do, and we send that, we get the same traffic that we're getting today, we will, by definition, or based on the numbers we're seeing, attract more executives overall and engage executives better in our readership. And this was exactly the insight that I brought to the editorial team that ran this website, and they have run with it. And indeed, this proportion of executive readership has increased as a result. So once you generate an insight like this, one way to act on it is to tell your content team, hey, here's an insight to go build more content. Another way to act on it is through marketing automation and by using a platform like Intercom. And what Intercom and Customer.io and Drift and a bunch of other platforms out there let you do is take the exact same data that was flowing into Mixpanel and turn a filtered version of that data into user audiences and then send highly tailored messages to those audiences. So in Intercom, I created an audience, and these were people who have slipped. So they were last seen more than 10 days ago, and they read IoT. They haven't yet read a lot of IoT, and they haven't yet read a lot of digital transformation, and their segment in here is a C-suite. And I basically define C-suite as a seniority match and a couple title matches as well. And I set up an unengaged C-suite audience to which I sent a piece of research that I knew hit upon these two key categories. And we sent them an email, and we said, hey, just read this report. And what that ended up doing is we ended up getting lift on website traffic, we ended up getting lift on viral sharing of the report, and we engaged executives around highly reliable categories that then caused them to become more retained over time. Once I was able to set up this automation and drive the initial insight, the question became, well, how is our audience trending over time? And in came a third platform that I was using, actually fourth, because Clearbit's the first, called Clipfolio. And Clipfolio is a unified dashboarding tool. There are a bunch of different dashboarding tools out there. Google Data Studio is one, Tableau is another, although I'm not really a massive fan of it because it's a little slow. Domo's another. I mean, it all depends on your organization size. What I like about Clipfolio is it lets me do aggregations and rollups that are quite complex in a highly succinct way. So in this case, I've got the Intercom subscriber count up top with the percent change, the growth in the individual subscribers added at the bottom in green, and the trend line of the total subscriber count at the top, and then a breakdown of the Clearbit seniority of those subscribers below. So I can actually see in one little panel the combination of Clearbit and Intercom in one place and how it's trending over time. On top of that, that just is one piece of the overall puzzle. I can also layer in Google Analytics data, which is also generated by segment data. And there I can see my visitors and my engagement numbers. And then I can even compare that site data with data that comes from outside of the website, like my LinkedIn footprint. So how many LinkedIn followers do I have? And how does their seniority profile differ from or align with the seniority profile of my list? This kind of unified dashboarding is what really helps bring together this otherwise disparate seeming set of digital tools into one cohesive whole. And one of the things I really like about Clipfolio in particular is that you can, once you set up a complex dashboard like this, you can schedule that dashboard to be emailed out to any list of people that you would like on any interval that you'd like. So one of the teams I'm working with who sees a dashboard like this gets it and a couple of other dashboards every Thursday morning. And they know Thursday morning is Analytics Thursday, and they sit there with their coffee at 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning when they get the email nice and bright and early, and they read through the numbers for the week. And they understand, this is how things are trending, and this is what content's doing well, and this is an interesting spike, and it gives them some thought-provoking fodder to then drive meetings that they've already scheduled on a regular basis for later in the day. You can use this same infrastructure in two additional ways, and this is sort of like building on top of the basics. One is inside of marketing automation tools like Intercom, you can pop messages that then drive to forms and other points of user interaction. And so I hacked together a Net Promoter Score survey using something called Typeform. And Net Promoter Score is a great way to understand to what extent are the people who are affiliated with a product or service likely to tell others about it. And I ran the survey by popping a message through Intercom saying, if the person had signed up 60 days ago, then give them a link to this survey and pass in all of this hidden data about them, like this is their user ID and this is their category, and they've been using the product for 60 days, so they didn't have to answer those questions at all. Just ask them a very basic, like, how likely are you to promote this product on a scale of 1 to 10, and what's your qualitative feedback? And then we can dashboard all of that data as well as, and this is where it gets very interesting, pass the responses that the user gave in that form back to Intercom. So it ends up in their Intercom profile. And the reason why this is very, very useful is you can then either email in a targeted way all of your promoters or all of your detractors and see how you can engage those individuals in different ways. And furthermore, Intercom is also a real-time help desk tool, as are a lot of these other platforms like Customer.io and Drift. So because we've tied the form responses back into the user's Intercom profile, if I'm helping someone answer a question in Intercom, I see their last Net Promoter Score response right up on the dashboard associated with their profile. So I actually am already provided with appropriate context on how satisfied or dissatisfied are they with my product. And then that helps me, and I heard this from a product manager who told me this, that helps me write some sort of nice finishing touch to my message, my messaging conversation with them. Thanks for being so excited about our product, or hey, did my help encourage you to think, improve your experience with us overall? Because what we're doing here, it's just like Clearbit. What we're doing here is we're enriching our data with context that helps us deliver the most effective communication at the right time and in the best way. The final thing we can do with all of this data, and this is for any of you who are working with large IT departments or data scientists or analytics groups who say, yeah, all these tools, this Google Analytics Mixpanel, those are fine, but I am a data analyst. I am a data scientist. I want to see the raw data and I want to aggregate it or join it with all of the internal behind the firewall sources we have. And, as you're getting excited and telling them about this whole flow, you can say to them, absolutely, we can do that. So we can, through this notion of data warehousing, through Segment as well, and it's funny, like, this is why I ended up working at Segment, is because I would give this conversation and people would accuse me of, like, working for Segment already. And at the end of the day, like, I'm just super excited about this. But what we can do is we can take all of the clickstream data that we're sending in real time to Google Analytics and Mixpanel and Intercom, and we can pull it into a unified data warehouse, whether it's Amazon Redshift or Postgres or BigQuery or Snowflake. We're also supporting Azure at this point. And we can also even pull in our Intercom data. So all the conversations that we've had in Intercom, we can also put those in a data warehouse. The beauty of being able to put all of that information in a data warehouse is it enables your data science teams and your analytics teams to then do whatever they would like to do with that data in the tools they're most comfortable working in, whether it's Looker or Mode or Tableau or Domo, and they can join all of this clickstream data against all of the existing queries they have in their data warehouse or in their data analytics platform already. This was a big, big selling point for a couple of large communications companies that I've worked with that I didn't even mention on my logo slide, because they were most concerned about, okay, we're collecting all this great data. How do we make it part of our behind the firewall data ecosystem? How do we put it in the lake, as it were, and make it accessible? And this became the way that they were able to achieve that end. So this is really just a sneak peek at the possibilities of daisy chaining your data flow from a core website through a unified data platform like Segment and downstream to a bunch of different tools that let you understand what's happening, act on those insights, and then unify the analysis in the best and easiest way possible. So with that, I'd like to say thank you. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have right now. And I also encourage you to keep in touch with me and send me your questions as well. Thank you so much.